Joining me now is the CEO of the Obama Foundation and former senior advisor in the Obama White House, Valerie Jarrett. Valerie, it is good to see you. I am sure you are breathing a big sigh of relief now that yesterday is over. It went off without a hitch. This whole project, such an enormous undertaking. Talk to me about the emotions you're feeling heading into the opening weekend.
Well, I'm just thrilled. And as you know, we opened to the public this morning, Alicia, and just to stand there and watch President and Michelle Obama greet our first 100 guests who came into the museum. They weren't expecting them to be there. And so when they came around the corner and they were standing there, and the Obamas embraced them and had a short conversation with everyone. And it was such a warm and welcoming atmosphere. And that's what we want to accomplish here. We want people to feel this place belongs to them. And I was listening to your clip of President Obama's speech yesterday, and I think he's trying to just remind us of our better angels and the potential that's within each of us to be a mighty force for good or continue in this effort to perfect our union. And so we're feeling really good right now, but every day is a first day, and we can't forget how important it is to stay on our toes, make our guests feel welcome, make sure that the experience is everything it can possibly be.
Of everything that was said yesterday, the remarks from First Lady Michelle Obama are what I think are going to stay with a lot of folks. I want you to take a listen to part of that clip, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
8 years in the crucible, and not once did you melt from the heat. The lies about your birthright, your faith, your patriotism, the outrage when you stated the biological fact that if you'd had a son, that he too would be black. Yet, you were unflappable at every turn.
I, too, am married to a Leo. That is not normally how they respond when they are praised. Pull back the curtain for me on what went into that moment, her decision not to show him the remarks, him hearing all of that for the first time.
Well, if Michelle had showed him the remarks, he would have told her to take all of that out. And of course, her speaking from the heart about him was something that was important for us to all hear. But his modesty would not have allowed her to leave it in. So and it was a wonderful back and forth. He kept asking for the remarks. He asked all of us for the remarks, and everybody said, "I'm sorry, sir," but she said no. And she wanted him to just hear it for the first time in front of everybody else. And look, she had the closest seat to what his presidency was like. She was there through the good times and bad. She saw the attacks. She saw all that he accomplished, and she just wanted him to know how proud she is of him. And I think it was an important message for the country to hear, not just in his role as president, but as her husband, how she feels about the father of her children.
Yeah. Yeah, and what it was like to actually go through that experience, to be in the crucible with him. I love the clip that we played from the former president talking about nostalgia, but I actually think the remarks he gave the night before to all of the Obama alums drove the point into even sharper contrast, right? This idea that nostalgia is not a strategy. Nostalgia can actually be a cop-out, this idea of wanting to go back instead of pushing ourselves forward. And I know that is so much of what you were trying to do with the center. It is what so much of yesterday was about. The question, of course, as you know, Valerie, is the how, because the work is the hard part, right? The how of how we push into the future, the how of how we build towards a better tomorrow, the how of how we invest in our youth. That's the work. And I wonder how you think the center is going to speak to that work, and how necessary it is in this moment.
Well, very necessary. And what we've been doing now for years is we have leadership programs in the United States, Asia, Africa, and Europe. And we try to equip young leaders with the skills that they need to go forth and be effective, to make an impact, to move the needle. And we talk about things such as empathy and being a good listener and integrity and character, and instill in them the sense that they're not alone in this effort to try to improve our amazing world upon which we live, and build a network of connections for them to have, so that they're not just having a relationship with us, they're having a relationship with each other. And now that we have a campus, we're going to be able to have leadership programs right here. We have an incredible athletic facility, and we're going to be working with young folks in the surrounding community. We have our Girls Opportunity Alliance designed to help adolescent girls achieve as much as they can. We have My Brother's Keeper, for boys and young men of color that came in the wake of the death of Trayvon Martin, where President Obama challenged us all, like, how do we do to help these young men? So everything that the programs at the foundation are designed to do is equip that next generation of change makers with the skills and resources that they need to go forth and improve the world. And that's really the secret sauce here. So yes, the museum is important. We need to understand our history, not just the history of the presidency, I would remind you, but as he said yesterday, we begin with the Declaration of Independence, slavery, the Civil War, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, the labor movement, the LGBTQ rights movement, the immigration movement, all designed to pave the way for the progress that our country's made that led to the election of the first Black president. We talk about, obviously, his time in office, things that worked, things that didn't work, and work left to do. And the work left to do is where we want people to say, okay, now let me go forth and do my part.
Valerie Jarrett, thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.